Absolutely is more involved. Chief HR officers or HR directors today, if you go back 20 years ago, they probably weren't part of the executive leadership team. 10 years ago, they became part of the executive leadership team, but tended to have, I think, more of a functional responsibility as kind of an expert resource as part of the team. I think increasingly you're seeing that because talent is critical to the organization and CEOs recognize that it's difficult to have a strategic discussion without some expertise around talent, leadership, engagement, some of the things that HR has responsibility for. And so in those discussions, I think CHROs have become much more involved in influencing the decisions, and not just around HR issues, but actually influencing business decisions because of the criticality of human capital to the execution of a business strategy. Again, the deliverables that CEOs want from HR is number one, talent. But I think that's much more of an HR implementation question, is that do we have the right leadership and talent systems in process to actually deliver the talent that the organization needs to successfully execute both the short-term and long-term strategy. When it comes to influencing the strategic decision-making, I think what CEOs want is that they want a point of view that's different from the rest of the team. So they want a CHRO who's bringing, to some extent, the perspective of employees, but to another extent that they're bringing that HR expertise into the process in terms of, what are the implications of this strategic decision for our ability to attract human capital? How will it impact in the engagement of our workforce? What kind of talent would we need to be able to execute this strategy, and which individual managers or leaders might be able to lead a particular initiative? I think that's where they largely, as CEOs, want the input from the CHRO. Well, a good people strategy, and I think Stephen Kelly's presentation today was one of the best that I've ever seen, where I told him afterwards, he had one page where there was the business strategy, or kind of the business imperatives, the people strategy in terms of what are the key people challenges to execute this business strategy, and then the HR strategy being, so what is the HR function going to have to develop and deliver in order to deliver against this people strategy, which will help us to successfully execute that business strategy. And so I think when you look at what makes an effective people strategy is that it emanates from the business strategy. It's not isolated from, but it actually emerges from what are the strategic initiatives, and it's very clear about who's important to the strategy, why are they important to the strategy, and what is it about them that we need to have in order for them to effectively execute against that strategy.